Growing up, I always was somebody who had very unique ways of solving problems. I always would run into situations, specifically in school, where I would be able to solve a certain problem and get the right answer, but I wouldn't go about doing it the correct way or the right way that we had been taught. And these kind of things always used to bother me because it just didn't make sense that I can get the right answer, but it would be considered wrong if I don't do it the one correct way. And it never used to make sense. And I would get in trouble a lot in math or science specifically, where there's certain steps you need to take. And it just never made sense. And my dad always kind of taught me you don't really talk back to authority figures. You just kind of listen and respond and then do whatever they ask of you to do. So this kind of thought process and these feelings I had kind of built up a lot, especially as I got older. And when I was 16, I was getting ready to get my driver's license. And I had been driving for a very long time. My parents wanted to make sure me and all my brothers were really good drivers. So we practiced a lot. We would drive around the neighborhood. We would practice parallel parking in our driveway. We would do all kinds of little things just to make sure that we knew how to drive a car. And we all did. We were really good drivers. So I had saved up all of my money from however long I can remember, and I bought my first car at 16, a 1997 red Jeep Wrangler. It was fire truck red. It had the soft top windows. I could take the doors off. It had chrome all around the outsides of it too. It was an amazing car. I think just to have some type of a convertible car in high school is the coolest thing you can have. And I was getting ready to go do my driving test in my car. And the first part of your driving test you have to do is you have to show that you can parallel park. So they have two poles that act essentially as other cars, and you have to line up your mirrors, straighten out, reverse back into your spot, straighten the car, and then pull back out again. So I go to do my test. I line up my mirrors. I reverse back into my spot, fade, straighten it out, and then pull back out again. Then the instructor says, okay, now you just need to drive around for about 5 or 10 minutes and just kind of whatever we ask of you to do, just make sure you do it. So we're going through and I'm using my blinker. I'm stopping correctly. I'm going through every merging correctly, doing every little thing that he's asking me to do. He's complimenting me throughout the drive, telling me things like, "Oh, it was a really nice stop. You used your blinker at a great time." And I know I'm killing it. I can feel in the car that I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And we get back and he tells me again, he said, "You're a fantastic driver." And I'm feeling great. I know I am. And he says, "But I can't give you your license today." And initially I'm kind of thrown off. I'm thinking just, oh, their printer's not working, or they can't give it to me right now because they don't have paper. I don't know. But then he says, "You're going to have to come back and redo your driving test." And now reality is kind of setting in that I didn't do a good job. And I'm starting to think in my head, well, I don't understand. I'm replaying every scenario. I'm like, I thought I did that right. I did, but he complimented me throughout. I'm like, I know I did everything correctly. I don't understand. So I asked him, I said, "I'm so sorry. Did I do something wrong? Is there a reason that I can't get my license today?" And he says, "Well, you're doing your parallel parking in a Jeep Wrangler. You don't have the windows on your car, and it's much smaller than a standard US vehicle. And when you're getting your license, we need to know that you can parallel park in any type of vehicle. And doing one in this car so small, it feels a bit unfair." And I don't know, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Like that makes no sense to me. I remember before getting my test, I talked to my dad. I said, "I can do my test in my Jeep, right?" And he said, "Yeah, just I would keep the doors on your car, but I'm pretty sure that you can do everything else is fine." And so I'm trying to think of any reason to where this guy's logic makes sense at all, and nothing is coming up because there's no that makes no sense. The car is registered in my name; it's a legal car. I just don't understand what his thought process is. So now I'm starting to take it personally. I'm thinking that this guy has never seen such a good 16-year-old driver that he just needs to knock me down a peg. And it is making me just feel like I'm a kid again. It's making me feel like I got the right answer, but I didn't do it the right way. And I feel stupid. And I feel like I have to overcompensate and prove that I'm not. He says to me, "All you need to do is just come back and retake the parallel parking portion only. Just do it in a different car." So immediately then I rebook an appointment and I choose to book it with the same guy because you can choose who you do your driving test with. And I need to show this guy that I'm not a cheater and I can do this correctly in any car. So I book it with him for a week later. And this time I bring my dad's 1999 Chevrolet Suburban. And if you're not familiar, a Suburban is about 4 times as long as a Jeep Wrangler, arguably the largest SUV that you can drive. And I brought this car because I practiced in this car. I know how to drive this car. My dad had made it a point for all of us to practice in his Suburban because he knew if we could drive in that and we could park in that we could do it in anything. So I bring this car to go do my test. And before the instructor gets in the car, he tells me I'm a little bit concerned because we only have a certain size spot for you to be able to parallel park, and this truck might be too big. Now I know this guy's just messing with me because first, my car's too small. Now it's too big. It feels like Goldilocks. It just doesn't want me to have this car. And so I tell him, it's okay. I've practiced here before. I've done it in this car a million times. I know that I can do this. He reluctantly gets in the car and we pull up and we get ready. I line up my mirrors to the first pole. I reverse back in and it fits like a glove. Some would say perfectly. I straighten the car out. I look in my mirrors again. I pull back out and I do it perfectly. He says, congratulations. And I said, well, we can go ahead and do the rest of the test now. And he tells me that's okay. It's not necessary. All you needed to do was just re-parallel park. And I said, no, it's okay, because if my parallel parking wasn't appropriate in my car, then every other thing I did in my test must not have been appropriate too. So we can redo the whole test in this car. And he agrees. So we do it again. And we do the whole test. And we go through everything. I turn. I use my blinker. I do my stops. Test maybe feels a little bit shorter this time. But we go through everything again. And we come back. And he tells me, congratulations. You're going to get your license. I already knew that. I should have gotten my license last time. I felt like this guy wasted my time, so I would waste a little bit of his time. And I normally like to kind of live by the mindset that you should always just be the bigger person and take the high road, but sometimes it feels really nice to be a petty bitch.